Everything was fantastic on set. There was only one lead actor used for each scene. No stunt doubles were used. Feel free to contact us by phone or email if you know of somebody who might be a suitable match. The morning of March 12, 2025, multiple news outlets broke the terrible news at the same time. Mike Wolfe, who plays the lead role in American Pickers, is currently facing significant accusations. The inquiry has uncovered evidence of international artifact smuggling, allegations of market manipulation involving antiques, and the tragic demise of a renowned historian. There is a lot of nervous anticipation in the antique sector as they await the outcome of this potentially tens of millions of dollar market. As the host of American Pickers, Mike Wolfe has long been recognized as personifying a devotion to history through his quest to find and restore long-lost antiquities. However, the 46-day trial has presented an entirely different image, that of a chilly, calculating man who is accused of having dubious ties to the trade of priceless antiquities from Europe and the Middle East. A shadowy underbelly concealed beneath the warm and welcoming television persona. A neighbor in Bloomington, Indiana called the police on June 17, 2023, to report a weird odor emanating from a home's basement. Professor Harold Clemens, a renowned expert on American Civil War artifacts and a retired history professor from the University of Chicago, resides at the house. Clemens was discovered lifeless in the basement when the authorities came. He was laying on his back and had a small object, a silver pocket watch, in his right hand. Although the watch's face was somewhat dim, the text was still readable. No glorious privilege, RK 1887. At first, everyone assumed it was just a calm, natural death of an elderly guy living alone. However, the watch was the catalyst for the shift. A week later, in an internal memo that was ultimately released, the Savannah National Museum confirmed that the watch had been reported lost in 2019 during a storage transfer. It had been part of their coveted battlefield history collection. For fear of tarnish the museum's image, the occurrence had remained undisclosed. But suddenly, to everyone's surprise, the relic had surfaced again, and it was in the possession of a prominent authority on historical artifacts. In an unaired episode of American Pickers, Mike Wolfe visited a farm in Kentucky, and I swear I saw this exact watch. An anonymous Reddit user named GearGhost82 started a topic in the antique subreddit, and the story took off from there. "It tells stories that no one else knows," he remarked, clutching the watch in his hand. Decades of additional users joined the conversation within 48 hours, asserting that they had previously witnessed the thing in question on the program or in a video that gained immense popularity on YouTube in 2021 prior to its removal. Evidence of its presence in Mike Wolfe's antique archaeology store in Nashville was even noticed by some. The bizarre synchronicity between the watch, Professor Clemens' death, and the photographs from the popular reality program is stirring public opinion, even if it is still not able to prove that these are the same artifacts. Is it all a coincidence or the beginning of a much larger mystery? That is the big question. Jointly with the International Antiquities Trafficking Task Force, an agency that focuses on cases involving illicitly trafficked or stolen cultural artifacts, the FBI quietly but firmly began an investigation in July 2023. As a symbol of the complex, cloudy, and dusty path the priceless relics traveled, the operation was dubbed Rust Rail. The operation's primary goal, investigating allegations of federal and, maybe, international involvement in the illicit trafficking of antiquities by Mike Wolfe, the well-known American Pickers presenter. An unseen footage from the History Channel was released by an ex-employee and was one of the initial pieces of evidence that prompted the investigation to go further. Located in an abandoned warehouse close to Paducah, Kentucky, the 14-minute video shows Mike haggling with an unknown individual over the sale of a pair of military pocket watches. Mike, brand ambassador for the renowned American watchmaker Elgin, makes a controversial statement while clutching the timepiece. I am aware that an officer formerly owned this. This holds true historical significance. I will not inquire as to its origin. Many are left to wonder if Mike was aware of the artifact's questionable history but chose to disregard it, given this statement. Professor Harold Clemens died under suspicious circumstances while wearing a silver watch that bore the inscription RK 1887. The investigative team found out that Mike Wolfe had an indirect connection to Clemens, which increased their suspicions. Clemens made a cameo appearance in a history class that aired on television in 2017. A mysterious comment was made by him in a short statement. It is not right to sell some things. For them, there is no way to get rid of the terrible memories that they have. An email from Clemens's personal computer, which a forensic technician found after his death, exposed a more serious worry. A famous TV celebrity was involved in a series of illicit transactions, he wrote to a trusted buddy. I am seriously contemplating notifying the relevant government agencies. He only had 3 days left to live when he submitted the letter. A minor bruise on the back of his skull was the only injury listed in the medical examiner's report, and investigators did not find any conclusive proof of murder. He may have lost consciousness due to a mild blow. Things got dicey for the investigators. Special surveillance was instituted on Mike Wolfe. Unexpectedly, a silver watch, a seemingly little detail, became the catalyst that led to the prosecution of an entire antique enterprise. As part of their investigation, investigators started watching every episode of American Pickers that had ever broadcast and officially requested all archival documents from the History Channel and the production business. Somewhat out of the ordinary was found by them. Mike and his colleagues bought around 40 products between 2020 and 2023, but they were never seen. There was a lack of clear documentation regarding the storage location or the identity of the recipient for some of the transactions, and the receipts were questionable at best. There was the tragic silver watch among them. Since the investigating team was unable to get in touch with Mike Wolfe directly, they sought out his relatives and friends. Craig Salinas, who was both the cruise driver and logistics coordinator for Maine, stood out. Despite there being no formal plan to shoot at an abandoned warehouse, Salinas was caught on camera during a nearly 6-hour surveillance session in southern Missouri, driving a truck with the antique archaeology emblem. Undercover officers from the local police department found a cache of sealed wooden crates there. The crates included artifacts from the 18th and 19th centuries, including 3 pieces that had been reported stolen from a museum in Georgia. Mike Wolfe was the largest shareholder through 3 tiers of financial intermediaries in a company named Time Vault Logistics, LLC. The investigating team scored a major breakthrough when they acquired search warrants for 2 private storage facilities controlled by the company. Under the pretense of dealing in antiquities, these businesses moved roughly $4.7 million from 2016 to 2023. Importantly, not a single action was confirmed by an established appraisal firm or auction house. Someone associated with the Aleppo, Syria, underground antiquities market even sent down $150,000 to a Swiss bank account under Mike Wolfe's name, a location that has been linked to the possible transfer of war-plundered cultural artifacts. The system's overall operation is very concerning. The artifacts are not returned to the antique archaeology headquarters after each filming. Rather, they are transferred to other parties through contracts that are inked using digital fax apps and paid for by Bitcoin or cash. Although his true identity remains a mystery, Mike's internal communications reveal that the principal coordinator is a man of Eastern European descent going by the moniker Maimon. Following the discovery of evidence linking reality TV star Mike Wolfe to an antique store in New Mexico in November 2023, the Federal Bureau of Investigations, FBI, formally initiated an investigation into a dubious network of historical artifacts. There was a strong suspicion that this was a crucial step in the alleged trafficking and transportation of illicit antiquities. Mike and an undercover agent met secretly over an unrecorded audio call on the evening of December 3 RD. The audio recording of that call contained a surprising comment that was eventually revealed in court. Life isn't just a series of episodes. People who truly appreciate something should be the ones to enjoy it, not the people watching it. The Federal Bureau of Investigations, FBI, launched a last-ditch investigation of 3 sites, including a warehouse in North Nashville, following the enigmatic call. The sites were thought to be associated with questionable archaeological endeavors. There, agents uncovered a coded list that included 17 unique artifacts, their black market worth, and the date of the transaction. Accompanying it was Mike Wolfe's own notebook, which had a handwritten letter. Ignorance is their greatest strength. Heritage, not wealth, is at stake here. Actions that violate ethical and legal bounds are not permitted by law, even when done in the interest of preserving history. Officially, Mike Wolfe was declared the principal suspect in a scandal that could rock the whole U.S. reality television industry. The evidence against him includes undocumented artifacts, unclear financial records, and notes indicating an attempt to conceal. On January 9, 2025, under strict security, the federal trial in Chicago formally started. Hundreds of reporters pressed for position outside the courthouse, as many supporters, insisting that it was a huge misunderstanding, waved free microphone placards. What did come out of the courtroom, though, was a whisper. There were 6 major accusations laid out in the 39-page indictment: tax avoidance, cultural property and antiquities trafficking, money laundering, obstructing justice, and indirect participation in covering up evidence of a suspicious death are all part of this criminal enterprise. Some previously unseen images and movies were made public, like the one where Mike Wolfe and a Syrian man trade a little package of fake Roman coins for cash in a Detroit garage. This, according to the prosecution, was no ordinary gathering. Rather, it was a complex trafficking network posing as television. Frank Fritz's testimony was the most shocking because he was a longtime friend and co-creator of American Pickers. After leaving